back up just a little bit. So obviously, May of '91. That's when you're anticipating going
Yes.
on a cruise, the gentleman's
Country club.
cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that timeline look like, or what's going on that bumps it up? Because also too, like I'm jumping back memory wise. I think they're saying invasion of Iraq. It's going to be high death tolls. Like a lot of guys aren't
Yes.
coming home. So what was that space like in the fall of '90 in August? Like what was the
So,
temperament? Yeah.
and I specifically remember, good question. So August, they invade, maybe late August, September, we're starting to get some word, hey, this is going to be a major war. They have the fourth largest army, air force in the war in the world. There's gonna be, I think I remember my skipper saying there's probably gonna be 15% air casualties at least minimum. Their air defense is so vast, so big. There's going to be 15% loss. But so we start working up, even though we're not sure where the Navy's going to be in it, but then we find out that we are. Because again, remember the Navy, the guys up in Washington are like, there's no way the Navy's, the admiral's like, no way we're going to be out of this. We got to be in on
Yeah.
it too. So we're starting to work up for it in August, September, October. We're going on little work up cruises, we call them, and we're finding out that hey, we're going to be in it. We're going to be tanking, but there's going to be high losses. This is the fourth largest Army Air Force in the world, and at the time we thought they were pretty decent. They just had a 10-year war with Iran, right? So
Yeah.
they battle experience. We're not, and we're also kind of looking forward to it in the back of our minds. I remember, we haven't had a victory. We kind of lost to Vietnam. The United States military has really not done much since Vietnam. And we're like, maybe we can make a comeback here. And, if we go to battle, we weren't sure we were going to go, but just in case we did. And we even go, and I was reading my letters. I was researching for this podcast. We were, I was writing, hey, Ma, Dad, we could be going to battle right away. Cause I remember, I think President Bush put a January 16th, I think he said, if they're not out of there by the 16th, we're in. I said that we could be doing it then, or it could be 6 months later. We don't know. We had no idea. But I do remember 4 days prior to the war starting, I think on the 17th, we got word we're going in. And we had just, like I said, arrived on station, and they're like, yeah, we're going in. So we did 3 boats in the Red Sea and 3 in the Persian Gulf. And we put 3 boats in the Persian Gulf. And, the rotation was, and I forgot about this, it was 2 days off, kind of doing cap, 4 days on, 2 days off. So we would rotate with the 3 boats. So because we were the last ones in and so late, the first 2 days we were just cap, and then day 3 we started flying deep into Iraq. So, and that was the interesting and fun part, was the flying from the Red Sea, tanking on the Air Force tankers all the way to Iraq and back. And in one of the letters I was writing my mother, heading, like, some of the missions were 1,400 miles round trip. So 700 in, 700 out, carrying bombs at night, 4.5, 5.1. I was looking at my logbook, 5.1 hour missions. Even when I fly with the tankers, the Navy couldn't have done it with the tankers. So when I fly with tanker guys now, I'm like, dude, you guys saved us. Most of them were guard tankers, I remember.
Yeah.
135s, KC-10s. We would take off from the Red Sea, fly. They had 2 tracks in Saudi Arabia. We'd hit the tankers, and it wasn't easy. We were loaded down with bombs. Every time we tanked before that, we were just clean hornets. Right now, we're tanking down with bombs. 4 tankers at, I think, 18, 19, 20, 21, or something like that, 1,000 feet. We're tanking 20 planes. I mean, it was, and I was talking to you earlier, icing conditions. I don't know why it was icing, but it were icing conditions. And that was the hardest part at first. Like, holy shit, I can't believe tanking. I'm not worried about dropping bombs. I hope I can hit the tanker.
Yeah. Well, and two, I imagine the Hornet, kind of like a Viper when you load it down with bombs, not as maneuverable, not as much, or you're using a lot of thrust to carry that weight. Tanking in the mid-20s, loaded out. I mean, usually min AB, in and out, which makes hanging on the boom a little bit more challenging as you're trying to get gas, but also not,
And a lot of, the first time I said the first time I'm tanking it, I'm at 22,000 feet, loaded down, and the boom is moving because of the weather. I'm icing. I'm getting ice indications. This windscreen. And remember, the Navy, we joined on the. You guys put out a basket, and we joined on the basket, but. The boom operators used to moving it around for the Air Force guys to put it in, but we're trying to maneuver and he's trying to maneuver. We're like, stop moving that thing, just leave it there and I'll hit it, you know. So we're playing this game, and it's got a big ball at the end of it. So, and if it whacks your windscreen or AOA, I mean, you know, you're gonna have to, you're in trouble. So that was very challenging. And once we would head to Iraq, and bomb, then we'd have to hit the tankers on the way back. And this was kind of a free for all. And on the way up, but I will say the Air Force, it was unbelievable. They were always on time, on station, ready to you know, drag us about 100 miles to drag, you know, refueling into Iraq. But on the way back, it was a free for all. Just hit the tank, find the tankers, hit the tankers, and make it back to the boat. And that's where I thought I was gonna die my glorious death. At first I thought, you know, if I'm going to die a glorious death, Rain, it's going to be like Bags gets hit, and I'm like, I'm going to kamikaze this as I'm wounded, just like in the movies, into a facility, and like your husband died a glorious death, you know, kamikazed it into the facility. But then I quickly realized, here's how I'm probably going to die. I'm going to come back, I'm going to be on a tanker, and an A-6 is going to whack me. Because we're 20, 25 planes trying to join 4 tankers at night. It's a lot of times, and a lot of the planes didn't have radar. A6 had no radar. A7 had no radar. They're just joining visually, and it's just a free for all. And it's kind of like, man, I can't believe we even did this. And that's where, you know, you're just looking left and right you're on the tanker, like, hopefully somebody doesn't whack me. And yeah, your husband, he died a glorious death. No, he died on the tanker. We blew up, and I think we saw him falling, you know, on flames. You know, it wasn't that glorious. He's screaming, you know, but.
He was crying the whole way down.
Right, no, like he's swearing his head off, like motherfucker. So that was kind of the funny part of the war. You know, it was kind of like this isn't the way I thought I pictured it. The bombing was easy. Now we did see. I will say this, Rain. We controlled the air after about 5-6 days. The United States controlled the air. So being a Hornet guy, we were just dropping bombs. So there was no threat from the air. There was threat from AAA though.
Well, so a couple things we can pull in. One, I have some appreciation there with night tanking, especially mass formations, rendezvous points, etc. in the day of no Link 16.
Yeah.
Because I imagine it's a time and a place and meet there. Now, granted, you know, Hornet's got a radar, so you can find stuff. Block 50 F-16, you got an interrogator, so it's always nice to have the tankers squawk, so you can be like, okay, that radar contact, that is the tanker. So as I go rejoining to this thing, or if it's on Link 16, having that track there makes it a lot more helpful, right? And NVGs. So those are some things you're battling.
Yeah, no NVGs, no Link 16. It was tankers should be there. Luckily, and I don't know how the A6 guys did it, but we had radar, so I could lock up, and I'm like, okay, those look like tankers, and so, but it was still a challenge because. Meanwhile, everybody else is trying to join on these 4 tankers and trying to get gas, and there's no, you know, rhyme or reason. It's just join on them and don't hit your buddy, you know, and that's where. So I also, it's kind of funny too, you know, dropping the bombs. They were shooting missiles, but not as much as we thought. The AAA was always there. But I always thought, you know, if I'm going to get shot down, it's probably going to be an Eagle guy. Because everybody wanted to shoot somebody, right? Everybody wants to kill, right? So I'm going to be exiting the country, fat, dumb, and happy, looking for an Eagle guy. I'm not going to be squawking mode 4, and I'm going to take a Sparrow right in the face because, you know, I wasn't squawking or I wasn't at the right altitude or right point. And I remember, so that's, again, all these funny things. I don't remember the battle as much, dropping the bombs as much as I do as like the funny stuff, you know.